Hello students, good morning once again. Let's continue our chapter 16, that is management of natural resource of chapter of class 10th. In our last class we have studied about the uses of hive ants. We know about those hive ants. Today we will study, the topic is why do we need to manage our resources. Why do we need to manage our resources? So let's start. Why management is necessary? If proper management is not done for these resources, then what will happen? What are its consequences in near future? We will study in this topic. As we know, India is a highly or thickly populated country, and we have energy need is also so high when compared to other countries, and at that comparison with the energy need, we have a little resource left due to their increasing need. Means for giving jobs to the increasing population, for providing them food and other requirement which they need. That's why we are using our natural resources in a exercise way. Means we are using these resources beyond our needs, much more than beyond our needs. So how can we manage them? As we know, the resources are non-renewable. If we are not control it, then it will completely finished, and when it finished, then what will happen? We can't do anything because we are so much habitual about these needs. Suppose for example, if AC will not on in your homes, then you get suffocated and you get angry on your parents. I'm feeling hurt, okay. So if we make the rooms that have big windows and open ventilation system is done in our homes, then we need less energy. Again, water, you must have seen early in the morning every day the women's are throwing or using water on the roads. They are wasting the resource, as water is a resource. Again, the water tank will completely fill and overflow occurs, and the water runs for many times. No one will come to switch up the motor. So these are our careless activities. If this was continue for a long time, one day will come when we have not a glass of water to drink. That's why we need our resource to be managed and maintained in a proper way. That's why not only we but also our next generation can get benefits from it. You have heard past 10 years ago there was a blackout situation come in Bangalore and Tamil Nadu, these states of south. What happened? The coal is completely finished and the train can't reach at time, due to which the whole state get in darkness because of no light. Coal can't be reached. Suppose if coal is completely finished, then you think what will happen? Then the whole country is in dark. So as a responsible citizen, as an educated person, it's your first responsibility to protect, to save, to conserve and to manage our resources which is available to us, and we should use it in a manageable way, or as much as possible we can use a less amount of energy and keep it for our future. Okay students, so let's first topic is natural resource as forest and wildlife. Why we should conserve forest and wildlife? We are studying about natural resources. Forest and wildlife also natural resource. Why they are called resource? How we are getting benefits from them? Because we are getting money from them directly as well as indirectly. Suppose for example forest. First, forest gives us us large amount of oxygen, for which we are not giving any single rupees to the forest. We are getting free oxygen. At that time, if we compare when we buy a cylinder of oxygen, or when somebody is in the hospital and oxygen is used by him, then we have to pay. But when using the oxygen from the atmosphere or from the forest, we are not giving any rupees. So that's why forest is natural resource. Also, it is the natural habitat for many animals and plants. We are getting fuels, food, medicine, fodder, etc., etc. from forest. So it's our responsibility that we should protect the forest and wildlife. How we get benefits from wildlife? Because due to presence of wildlife, the people fear to go to the forest, and they don't cut the tree, don't hunt the animals, due to which the forest can be prevented. But still we are using the forest products. How this is possible? We are going to the forest, we are watching Discovery, National Geography in the television, and we saw different forest animals and their activities, how they take food, how they run, how they are different activities. So due to this, we are also giving money to the channel. We are buying products through advertisement, and those advertisement groups pay money to the channel, and indirectly we are getting money from the wildlife and forest. So we have to protect forest and wildlife. Here I want to tell you that who are the stakeholders of forest. Who are the stakeholders? Stakeholder means who have the right to use the forest products and how. First, the stakeholders of forest are local people. Local people. Local people means the people, those who live in or around the forest. They have the right to use the forest product because they are care for the forest. They are protecting the forest, plants and wildlife, so they can use the forest products. And they are not harming the forest and wildlife. They only uses those things who are fall on the forest. Suppose your tendu leaves, which is used for making bidis. They collect fuel woods for cooking food. They collect glues, gums, which is called gond. They are collected by the local people. So as local people protecting the forest, so they are the first stakeholders of the forest. Next stakeholder is the Forest Department of India. Forest Department. Why Forest Department? Because Forest Department employs the employees for the protection of forest. So they have the right to go inside the forest and to use the forest products. Next stakeholder is your nature and natural enthusiast. Why? As I have told you, the channel which we discussed, the channel Discovery and National Geography, we are watching the animals, forest, river, etc. Because of those persons, they are giving money, they are paying fees for that purpose, for shooting. So they have also the right to go into the forest. And next stakeholders are the industrialists. Why industrialist? Industrialist has also, they are also give money to the government of the country, that may be India or any other country, due to which they can collect wood, they can cut forest. So instead of cutting forest, they have to pay money to the forest department or to the government of India or revenue collector of forest department of India. That's why they are also another stakeholder. So here I have told you about 4 stakeholders of the forest. One is your local people, then forest department, then nature and natural enthusiasts, then your industrialist. Here I want to tell you a short story about how people sacrifice their life, to protect the wildlife and forest. Here is the story of Amrita Devi Bishnoi. Amrita Devi Bishnoi in 1731 is lived in the Khijri village of Jodhpur, and the king was so rude at that time. So once his queen told to the king that he wanted tree house. So the king's people go for cutting trees, means khejri tree. So when they go for cutting tree, the local people opposes from cutting down the trees because they are the trees are worshipped by them, and they are very love to the nature and cares for the nature. That's why they oppose. And when they oppose, the king's persons who came for cutting the trees caught those peoples along with the plant or along with the tree. So this will spread, and nowadays Amrita Devi Bishnoi, which leads the important role in protecting the trees, plays important role in protecting the trees. The award named as Amrita Devi Bishnoi Award, which is given for, remember, Amrita Devi Bishnoi. Amrita Devi Bishnoi. Amrita Devi Bishnoi Award is given to those peoples who have a great contribution in protecting the forest and wildlife. Another example I can give you, which was happened in recent 90s, in 1971 or 72, in 1970s, during the time period of Chief Minister of Garhwal, that is Sundarlal Bahuguna, some persons come to the jungle, contractors come to the jungle for cutting down the trees. But the local people again protest against from the cutting down of trees, and they hug the tree and prevent them from cutting down the trees. As the government is, as we know, our country is a secular country and we have a democracy, so no one can kill anyone. That's why the people returned, and this news spread all over the India and other countries that how the people protect the trees. And that movement is also known as your Hug the Tree movement or Chipko Andolan. Chipko Andolan was done in the Reni district of Garhwal. This is also another story. Again, I am telling you another important story that the West Bengal, do you know West Bengal? In West Bengal, Medinapur is a district in which more than 12.5 acres or more than 8 acres of sal tree getting degraded due to Naxalites. As you know, Naxalites is a great problem in the east and middle India. So, in fear of Naxalites, the people of government employee or forest department fear to go into the jungle, due to which the sal forest gets starting degraded. But by the bravery of the local people, they try or they go to the forest and care the trees, and gradually the forest department also help them, and now that forest cost more than 12.5 crores, which at a time has no cost. Now by the help of the local people or by the contribution of the local people, now that forest cost a lot. And this is some examples which can aware us to protect our forest and wildlife and increase our economy. Clear, students? Okay.